Welcome to Somewhere in October. I'm Alex, and today we are going to do horror tropes I'm already sick of. So these are horror tropes that I'm seeing kind of repeated that obviously some movies can make it work, but it is a pain point for me and you really need to wow me to get past it. I'm not going to cover some of the ones you may already know about me, like I don't love the everyone thinks they're crazy and they get institutionalized, all those things. I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into things that I don't love. I don't know how many it's going to be. I had a list. I can't find it. So I'm winging it. The very first one is not necessarily a dream fake out, but is using dreams for jump scares. This is something that was very common in weapons, and now maybe it wasn't necessarily a dream. Maybe we'll get more deeper lore, but you know it's in many, many movies. When they don't have a way to give you that element of surprise or to give you that jump scare, they do a nightmare with a jump scare. I get it, but when it's a dream, it just kind of loses me. Like, yeah, you made me jump, but there's not really any tension because there's no real threat. It was a dream. We move on. So where is the villain? Where is the horror? I don't know. It's not continuous. I mean, unless you're, obviously Freddy Krueger, but that is kind of old for me already. The next one is actually what inspired this, and I'm going to actually do specifically after the zombie bracket, zombie tropes that I don't like. And his tropes may not even be the right word, guys. Just go along with me. The next one is pregnancy in zombie movies. I've had enough. Obviously, sometimes it's done very, very well. And other times, I just think it really constrains a story and can make it unrealistic. That was one of my biggest issues with 28 Years Later, because he made that big trek with a crying baby, and we saw no issues. There may have been issues, but we didn't see it. And I just don't think it's realistic. And it can work, like in the remake of Dawn of the Dead or the original Dawn of the Dead, before the zombies happened, it was already in play. I totally buy into that. Once the zombies are here and things are going on, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see bringing a child into this. I don't want to hear the conversations about, oh, let's repopulate. Leave it. Leave it. Give a character something else to worry about. I don't want any more of it. The next one is my biggest issue with a lot of slashers right now, specifically the second in a franchise that just came out. I won't actually tell you what it is because I don't want to spoil that, but I also experienced it in Candyman. I watched the second one. I mentioned it in Halloween 4, and obviously as the story goes on, you can work around this. And not even just slashers. When a villain is so family driven or the complete story surrounds a family, you lose me. A lot of stories will not go there. Or we want that person to go on. There's no tension. There's no tension. When the story completely is engulfed by a family, or maybe even just an individual person, it's a focus, and there's nothing in the way, you are just chasing them, they are the focus for you, the tension really leaves. Because unless you're gonna do Psycho, they're not gonna get it midway through the movie. Maybe you'll have the guts to do what needs to be done in the end, but then everyone's thinking, what about the next sequel? How do we go from here? I think a family element can be very strong in backstory, but maybe more like Halloween that I've seen so far is have people who get in the way of that also be at risk. Because when you are so honed in on somebody, you lose me. I don't have any tension. I don't really believe that you're going to do something. But if you do that and you stick the landing and you have the guts to do it, it'll win me over. I'm really noticing this. I just am not interested in the family to be continuous. I get it's part of the backstory. It can't be everything. It can't be everything for 7 installments. It can't. The next one is a little bit harder to work around, I will say, and it is incompetent parents and cops. There are like different aspects that I get really frustrated with cops and parents. It's either the parents just making the most stupid decisions or just being too involved but not involved enough, and same with cops, like they're chasing the villain, but they don't believe it enough, so they are another obstacle. I think that works well in TV because you have so much going on. In a movie, it eats up so much runtime, and it can be done right, but sometimes I'm just like, okay, we get it, the cops have to be involved, but I don't care. I don't care. Often they interfere and also lifts tension, things like that. If you're gonna do it for me, I think either you need to have a parent who is kind of like the first black phone. He is just not in there. He's in the story, he's significant to the story, but he's not in the chase. He is not in the meat of it. And this one actually kind of lends to the one I don't like about nobody believing you and being institutionalized because often it will be the cop or the police. I think maybe even like weapons have one cop that's involved, but don't have him consumed by it, don't have him really shift and shake the story. I get you have to do it because it would be totally unrealistic for parents and cops to never be involved, but I need some wiggle room. Child's Play, I think, does it really well because, again, it's like one cop, one detective. We're not sending out our squad, we're not sending out the precinct. That is kind of what I want. Am I making sense? This one is, I think, for many. I know some people like exposition, and I can respect it. Sometimes we need it. But I do not need exposition repeatedly, and I definitely don't need it for backstory. Show, don't tell. That was my biggest issue with Abigail. We saw the main girl's phone. She had a child on her phone, okay? The lock screen. Right away, we knew what she had to lose. We knew her motivation. We could assume. How many times in Abigail do they take you out of the horror and the motion and the movement and the tension to speak and tell you things you've already picked up on? I don't want that. Don't eat up the runtime explaining things to me. And I'm also somebody who loves to, at the end, not always get it and have to rewatch and pick it out. So as long as you have the right breadcrumbs, it's fine. And if you need an exposition, make it natural and don't sacrifice tension. Don't sacrifice the horror element of it. And also, we're not stupid, you know? Give us a chance. My final one, this is more to do with the production of it all, is music versus sound. So I don't really know if this is a horror trope, but this is something. Now, I don't really think Hostel is that good of a movie. I've only watched the first one and I hated it. But there is a scene when he is on the chair and the guy has a chainsaw and the tension is there. He powers up the chainsaw and you are shaking in your boots. And what do? It is the most actiony music. It is just like not the vibe that we're in. That atmosphere I was in, I was immediately ripped out. Obviously, music can really add, but I also think sound can add. And I also think empty air to breathe and to just hear the sounds of the room, I think that is so effective. Just hearing that chainsaw, hearing him struggle, hearing other people in other rooms, that's enough. Music is really make or break, and I think it's fine in some places where tension is not the focus, but if you are in the peak of tension, the peak of horror, don't put in random music, especially actiony music. I do not want to hear action music in my horror movie, unless it's like a really good guitar riff and it's a really good part. Besides that, leave it out. Okay, that's my rant and complaints for the day. I think I'm gonna do horror tropes that most people don't like that I love. So let me know if you want that. I think what I'll do is I'll put up a poll or put up people to vote, and maybe I'll go on the ones that you guys don't like the most, see which ones I do like and argue my case. Maybe that would be fun. Okay, I'll see you in the next one.